AOC, she's trying to justify the border camps that Joe Biden is running. So now that Joe Biden has not only continued the same policies as Trump, he's even reopened the exact same facilities as we saw in Carrizo, Texas, Donna. I mean, it's astonishing the way she's trying to rationalize this. So let me just play you a clip from her town hall. Now, this thing is an hour long. You could go and watch the entire thing if you want. It's not going to change anything about what she's saying. This is not being taken out of context in any capacity whatsoever. Listen to what she's saying. Okay, it's truly, I mean, wow.
That this keeps happening over and over and over again is a political failure by both parties. And I want to be very clear about that, because I don't want to draw false equivalence. What is happening here is not the same as what happened during the Trump administration, where they took babies out of the arms of their mothers and deported their families and permanently traumatized these children, some of whom we don't know will ever be reunified with their family again, which is a level of human rights violation that is just simply not the same. Both of these things are barbaric and they're wrong. But when you rip a baby out of the hands of a mother, you cannot draw the same comparison. And anyone who is trying to do that is doing a profound disservice to the cause of justice. So I don't want to excuse any of this, but I don't think we should also get them twisted together, because one is not the same. And we cannot dust that under the rug. And by the way, those families are owed reparations, period. Now I'll move on and continue on this issue. So we have this surge that's going.
Okay, well, just to continue what she said last. I mean, what about black people? What about the natives in the United States? Do they get reparations too? I think all of them should. Everybody should get reparations, for the record, at the very least. But just to summarize what she said, I mean, did you hear that? She's saying anyone who conflates the two or equates the two is doing a profound disservice to the cause of justice. Wow, that's a fucking loaded accusation right there, right? That's a very charged thing that she's saying. Wow, like this is not just your bad faith actor. No. You are doing a profound disservice to the cause of justice. I rest my case. Wow. Okay. First of all, you're full of shit, because this is exactly the same as what is happening under Trump, as what was happening under Trump. She criticized Donald Trump for running concentration camps. She said this on several occasions, not just once. Let me show you. Okay. For example, I showed you last time. She said this several times in June and July of 2019, specifically. So this is one tweet, for example. She's saying that these are concentration camps, right? Said, according to concentration camp experts, people begin to die due to overcrowding, neglect, and shortage of resources. We saw all three of those signs on our trip yesterday. Another person died yesterday, and those are the deaths we know about. Okay, well, I don't see anywhere in her tweet anything about babies being ripped from the arms of their mothers. Now, yes, I mean, that's a terrible thing in of itself, but she did not say that was a condition or a discerning factor when deciding what a concentration camp is and isn't, right? She didn't say that. She said it's because of overcrowding, neglect, shortage of resources, people being crammed together. That's what she says, right? But now she's saying, no. I mean, it's because of the babies. This is all because of the babies being ripped from their mother's arms under Trump. That's not happening anymore now, so they're not the same. What? Yeah, but what about this? What about the overcrowding? What about the shortage of resources? That's still happening. That's still happening. There's no difference. They just put a fucking TV in the cage now. And they remove the metal and they put plexiglass and plastic instead. It's still a cage. There's still overcrowding. There's still a shortage of resources, effectively, because you can't cope with it. That's what happens when you pay private corporations to run prisons and you spend all your money bombing other countries. Yeah, you're going to have a shortage of resources because everyone's corrupt. I mean, you have the resources. They're just being siphoned away. They're being stolen. So, what's going on here? Either she's genuinely convinced that what makes a concentration camp is the fact that babies are being ripped from their mother's arms, or she's a fucking hypocrite and she's a liar. Right? That's the only way I can rationalize this, because this term concentration camp has completely disappeared from her lexicon, from her vocabulary. Yes? It's disappeared. Did you hear that? When she addressed it now, did you hear it, in the previous rant she did on Instagram Live? Did you see it in any of her tweets? It's gone. It's gone. And she's insisting, how dare you equate the two? You're doing a profound disservice to the cause of justice. Wow. Wow. I mean, those conditions look identical to me. That is the same. Again, they just put a TV in there, and the frames of the cages are literally still the same. They just replaced them from metal to I don't know what that is, plexiglass. I'm not sure what the material is, but I want to address something else, because she is saying that the policy of family separation, child separation, has been done away with under Trump, under Biden, right? Freudian slip, they're the fucking same. She's lying. So now, let me break this down for you. Now, what's happening, you still have unaccompanied minors in the United States. There is still family separation. The only difference is that instead of the US federal agents doing it inside the United States, Biden has resolved to forcing families to part ways before their children even enter the United States. Right? Because now, look at this. This is from the BBC. Okay. So they're saying now that Mr. Biden, let me read it from here. So how do Biden policies differ from Trump? Under a pandemic-related health order called Title 42, the previous president's administration automatically deported anyone caught illegally crossing the border. Mr. Biden has applied the order to adults and families, but not to unaccompanied children. Okay, so Mr. Trump had previously sought to deter immigration by arresting migrant families and separating the children, including infants and babies, to be housed with minors who had not been brought to the border by their parent or legal guardian. The so-called zero tolerance policy drew widespread outrage and led Mr. Trump to issue an executive order in June 2018 that halted the family separation policy. So, and here, if you look at this article from Politico, it's called Biden Brings Back Family Separation, this time in Mexico. Okay, and so, they're saying here that U.S. agents no longer tear apart parents and children, but families are having to make painful decisions just on the other side of the border. So because Joe Biden will immediately expel or deport a family, right, or adults, the families and the adults are parting ways with their children on the other side of the border. It's the same shit. This is still family separation. The children are still entering the United States unaccompanied. That's the only difference. And if you read the Politico article, what was happening before in 2014, 2015, you would have children making the entire journey by themselves. Now, their parents are camped out right outside the pedestrian crossing from Mexico to California. They're just right outside the border. And they stay there and they let their kids go in by themselves. They're still being separated. You fucking liar, motherfucker. And she sits there and fucking lies and tries to whitewash this bullshit. Like, how depraved are you? How depraved do you have to be? Why do you have to carry water for this administration? Why has your vocabulary changed? Why the fuck are you making excuses for this piece of shit motherfucker who wrote the crime bill, who's done nothing but jail people his entire career? He's fucking made millions, billions for the prison industrial complex. And his vice president is a cop, another jailer. Why are you making excuses for this shit? Why are you insisting that it's not the same when it's the fucking same? What is wrong with you? What happened to you? God, her mask has come right off. I mean, like, in every regard, right? She says nothing about Syria. She stumps for Biden, despite his atrocious record, the fucking war criminal has done nothing but screw over working families, bombing people. She stumps for him. She helps elect him. He doesn't support any of her policies. She won't give you $15 minimum wage. She won't force the vote. She lies about forcing the vote, right? She said she'd do it for $15 minimum wage, never did it. She won't try to threaten Speaker Pelosi with her speakership. She comes here and try to justify fucking camps at the border, which she called concentration camps under Trump. Now they're not concentration camps anymore, according to her own vocabulary, right? And she tries to, what's the only discerning factor? What's the only difference? Babies being torn from their mother's arms. Look, I have news for you. The bulk of the 15,000 children, 15,000 plus children that are now in U.S. custody in these cages, they're between 16 and 18, the majority of them. 16 and 18-year-olds can also be traumatized. You don't have to be, an infant. An adult can be traumatized. Anyone of any age can experience psychological distress and experience a trauma or be dealt PTSD. If that's what she's saying, that's not a thing anymore, that's a fucking lie. I mean, that's just absurd. The age here is not, it does not make it okay. Which is what Biden was trying to do in his first press conference. He's saying, hey, look, we're not tearing babies from their mother's arms. No, look, these are 16-year-olds. What, like it's okay to give... to give them the same treatment or an adult the same treatment? The conditions are the issue, motherfucker. The conditions are the issue. The treatment is the issue, not the, they're trying to victim blame. They're trying to say like, well, look, man, the age of the victim is different now. And, the GPS coordinates of the family separation are different. It's got nothing to do with us. Yo, I cannot stand this shit, man. She is such a fraud. She is such a fraud. Like again, how many things does she have to do for you to finally internalize like she's an establishment Democrat? Like she is the fundraiser. She is the face. She is the front of the Democratic Party. She's not a fucking progressive. Get this out of your head, man. Get this out of your head. Get this out of your head. She should be fucking ashamed, man, carrying water for this scumbag administration, right? Just as she should have been ashamed, if she had done it under Trump. They're both the same. It's the same party. Blue man, orange man, red man. It's all the same shit. It's one party system. And they're pretending that they're different. They are no fucking different. They are just as scummy as Republicans. Right? And Ted Cruz, this charlatan going down to the border pretending like he suddenly cares, equally as fake. And you see them going back and forth, AOC and Ted Cruz, like, oh, you should resign. Oh, you're a socialist. Shut the fuck up, both of you. You're both scum. We know the fucking game. We know what you're playing. It's just constantly this fake back and forth, like pretending to oppose each other. They're working for the same corporate masters. They are implementing the same goddamn agenda. They just take turns being offended at each other. That's it, man.